Hello, Linkies! Happy Friday! I don't know if this is going to go live. I've got to be honest. Can some of you start messaging, please? Because I've got really, really bad internet today. Are any of you in Europe? I'm currently in Italy, in the Italian mountains, and boy, has our weather been insane in the past 24 hours. So yesterday, this room felt like I was in a horror movie. I was working away, and yeah, I've just got a notification happening now. Hopefully you can hear me. Please message in the chat. So yes, yesterday I was here working away on CV templates and all sorts. And I thought that someone was taking slates off the roof or something. It sounded so weird. Opened up the door and there was hail, and the golf balls were like this. They were ridiculous. Got a video of it, and yeah, it was pretty apocalyptic from where I was sat. It was ridiculous. But yes, are we live, Linkies? Are you here? Is anyone listening? In fairness, I've got quite a few questions to get through anyway, because they're from last week. And yeah, I hope you're all surviving this beautiful weather, heat wave in Europe. Yeah, hopefully you're not having the apocalyptic weather that we're having here. I can hear thunder as we speak. So if I go off, and that's that. We'll have to reconvene next week. But please get your questions in. I will answer them as quickly as possible. So this morning alone, I've had 4 coaching sessions, and those individuals range from 4 years experience to 25 years experience, all from similar kind of backgrounds, and they were asking me a lot of similar questions. Yay, Hella! Woohoo! Lovely to see you. Thank you so much for letting me know that I'm actually live. Sometimes I just feel like I'm talking to myself, so thank you so much. So yeah, this morning I had quite a few sessions we were doing CV coaching, portfolio coaching, and all-round coaching. Oh, platinum subscriptions. And what we were discussing, there were similar themes throughout. So everyone had a CV that was written by AI. Oh, have you seen that video on Instagram, by the way? There's a video of an Australian radio station. In Australia, they've got a thing that AI is going to take over part of the healthcare service. Thank you, Hala. And the radio station opened ChatGPT and asked it, how many E's are in 17? And I tried this myself, by the way. It said 3. 3. And then when you start to question it, it says, no, you're wrong. There's 3 E's when obviously there's 4. But anyway, try it on your AI just for fun. So this week, we were discussing branding across the CV portfolio, LinkedIn, job search, overall brand. You know, what you're going to post. What do you want to be recognized for? What do you want people to kind of think when they open your CV? And most of them answered the same thing. They were just like, do you know that fonts have a certain understanding, or what's the word? I can't even think of it right this second. I'm so distracted by the thunder in the background. I'm so sorry. So materials, textures, you guys are all aware of colors, materials, textures, tones, space. the awareness of how people move through space, yet your CVs, portfolios, and LinkedIn profiles are devoid of it. It's a skill that you've learned from university, you use it every day, but yet you don't use it in your CVs and portfolios. Could you explain to me why this happens? Because in every single coaching session, we've been kind of going into the depths of how someone wants to be portrayed and who they are as an individual. And all of this kind of plays into how you speak in your CV, how you write your CV. And this is why I brought up AI, because AI is literally taking your voice away from you. You all sound the same. So when I go through like CVs, so we'll get like 900 people apply to a job per se. And when I'm going through the people who are correct for that role, so they have all the right experience, they have the right projects, experience, right size, scale, location, education, sometimes, it's the people, once I go through that short list, how do I put it? So the people who stand out are the ones who do not, A, use a CV writer because A, that is the CV writer's voice, or B, an AI. So it's the ones who sound original right from the start. So their introduction, one, they say my name. So in the email, my name is mentioned. They then like speak in a human tone, human voice, like I am now to you guys. You know, I'm not reading off a script, definitely not. And you can tell in the body of the email. Then you can tell in the body of the CV, and then you can tell in the portfolio. And what I've been finding right across the board, especially today, every single architect and designer has completely hidden themselves. So we've had Foster and Partners today. We've had, who have we had? We've had a Zaha candidate today. We've had a few other names today throughout Dubai. And every single one of those people doesn't actually tell you in the body of their CV what they do. So it's all like at, I'm trying to think of a company name without actually saying anyone's name. I've been trying to stop myself quite a lot today about, you know, I don't want to put anyone in it kind of thing. So they are all hiding behind. Right. So every single project that they've been talking about, they've been literally just talking about the project, but they haven't said, as part of a team, I worked on X, or this is a project that I worked on. This is the sector that it was in. This was the brief. This is my role within that project. And then they haven't even spoken about what they did in the portfolio. So when I'm going through like 900 whatever candidates and I get down to the short list, I'm looking to find those people who do want to stand out, who do want to be recognized. And I know all of you do. And this is a key thing. Every single coaching session I have with an architect or designer, they're frustrated in some way, shape, or form that they're not being recognized either in the current role that they have or in the interviews. And we'll get to the interviews in a minute. Let me just make a note of that, actually, interviews. So they're not being recognized in some way, shape, or form. And what it comes down to is that they don't know what kind of designer, whether it's a front end, middle, or at the end, so the more the site end, they don't know where to fit in. They're also looking to score all the jobs that they apply to, which, let's face it, that's impossible. And would you want every job? No. But they seem to be kind of focused on all the companies that they're applying to, what they would want, how they should appeal to them. What does so-and-so thing. What does Foster and Partners do? What does Zaha do? What does OMA do? And I put it across to the last person that I just came off a coaching call with. I said, it's like being at school, isn't it, really? You're kind of looking at the next desk. It's your best mate sat next to you going, wait, what have you done? And copying their homework. Because they get A grades or whatever, you go, yeah, come on, give me the heads up. But that's not like anyone's life. You need to think about what you want in your future. And it's not what your like bestie does. You've got your own unique way of doing things, your own unique way of putting across your work, your own unique ideas. So why aren't you using your background and where you study? So everyday life, again, you know, you're choosing colors, fonts. You're thinking about space and how it's utilized, textures, colors, what those colors represent. Bring all of those ideas, your everyday job into your CV and portfolio. When you put it like that, it does sound quite simple, but I think a lot of you are working on these massive projects and you're waking up thinking about what your boss is going to be saying to you when you get into the work, what your client is going to be saying. You don't have enough money to do that. You don't have enough money to do this. That's not the route that they're going to take. Take all of that out, of your day-to-day life and think about what you want in your career. So think about 10 years from now, who is going to be around you? What projects would you like to work on? What is, hang on, what is, think of blue sky thinking, oh, that's the second time I've used that expression today. I absolutely hate that expression, but it's the second time I've used it. Maybe it will hit home with someone. So think about what you want 10 years from now. Who is around you? What projects are you going to be working on? What kind of companies are you going to be working for? And then start to think about how you would deal with a project. So when you get the brief through, how will you tackle that project, and how will that future version of you be writing their CV? Will you be proud? Yeah, I'm sure you will be. Will you be like telling your friends, oh, wow, I've done this project. I've worked with so-and-so. I've worked with... Yes, of course you will. It's not about bragging in your CV. It's just stating facts. So go through each employer, each experience. So put a summary of what you're doing, exactly what you're doing. And then underneath, go through all the projects, the title, the scale, the sector, and then what you did on each project, any problems that you solved, what problems came about, and how quickly could you solve them? Did you save them time? It's about putting tangible results together with the projects that you were working on. I'm really sorry. I keep hearing the thunder going off in the background. It's really distracting. So, there's lots of things that you can go into in your portfolio, and you need to be aware of the branding side. The branding is so, so important. So once we kind of spoke about, who these people want to be, what companies they're looking at, we got into details actually with two of the coaching sessions this morning about interviews. So both candidates actually went to interviews with really, really good companies. And both candidates were like, yeah, I really want to work with them. And it all went well. And then I got to a stage where, I've done all the tests, I've done all the tests, so Rivet tests and all of this, psychometric testing for the more senior guy. And both of them said, we got to a point, it seems like I'm going to get an offer, but what's being said is, your salary is kind of high for the level of experience you've got. And what we tackled was, look, obviously I've been doing recruitment for over 27 years. It's a long time. When your CV, portfolio, and LinkedIn all sing the same message, they don't just say it, they sing it. Your passion is just all over the place. There's no question. Interviews are not a question of, right, can you do the job? Nah. It's about how do we work together? And that's what we're doing in these coaching sessions with each other, is trying to figure out, right, what are the hiring managers seeing, and how can we flip this around so that you have so much confidence and it exudes, your passion exudes, your confidence exudes throughout your materials, so that the hiring managers aren't even questioning anything. They are talking about what would you do on this project? How would you perform this? Okay, great. So once they start like visualizing you in the workplace, your job is nearly there. It's just a case of, excuse me, it's a personality match from there. So I've got a question here. How do I pronounce your name? Himanshu, is that right? Hopefully it is. If we have an NDA signed with the employer and we cannot mention the exact projects, then what needs to be done in case, what we can be done, can you suggest? Okay, what can be, yeah. Okay, look, everyone goes through a period, well, not everyone, but yes, I've dealt with this a lot, working with Foster & Partners and, tier one companies that have projects that no one knows about. It happens all the time. Yes, you will have to sign an NDA, but no one's whole portfolio has NDA, 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 NDA. Even the biggest people that work for the biggest companies, they still have a portfolio. If you come to me and say, Hayley, look, I don't have a portfolio because I've had to sign NDAs, then you're not trying hard enough. Your whole career hasn't been about NDAs. And also, I think we need to make it more the norm about talking with your hiring manager about what you are allowed to put into your portfolio. You need to make it more about, right, look, I'm really proud of this project. I know that I'm not going to work for you forever and ever and ever, but what am I allowed to put in at this moment in time? Now, I did get chastised about this a couple of weeks ago about putting a video up on NDAs, but I need to just say this out loud. So one of our clients and we worked together on our portfolio masterclass. And I said to him, look, if you had a candidate that worked for you and wanted to put together their portfolio, but they'd been working on projects that they had to sign an NDA, what would you do? You're not going to prevent them from finding a job. And he's like, no. Of course we wouldn't pay. We want everyone to benefit from the projects that we've worked on. And also, they're great projects. If somebody came to me and we had a discussion about it first, look, never, ever, ever put a project in your portfolio if it is signed by NDA and you don't have permission. But you need to talk to someone about it. Just go to your boss, go to someone and say, look, okay, it was 5 years ago, whatever. I'm really proud of this project. I would like to put it into my portfolio. Can we have a discussion about what I can and can't put in? So maybe you don't have all the information about what you can and can't. So a discussion, any way, shape, form, just have a discussion. I know there are a couple of companies at this moment in time that I keep seeing popping up on my LinkedIn feed. I think Elon Musk has technically he's using do I say the project name? Dubai Loop. And it's obviously not him, it's the architect who's taken somebody else's design, la 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 la. It's not the first time it's happened in the Middle East. I remember the frame, I think that was in a competition. You just need to be open and honest with people. Don't try and steal other people's work. Obviously, you're going to end up in some sort of battle. Just be honest with your current employer and the team around you. So I hope that answers your question on NDAs. So I've got a few other questions in my notes. Let me just go through. Oh, so this isn't technically a question, but I've been getting this a lot since I've been doing these LinkedIn Lives. Hayley, have a look at my portfolio. I've been taking on all your advice in your LinkedIn Lives. Just so you know, I'm not able to cover absolutely everything in these LinkedIn Lives. It's just impossible. That's why we've got a portfolio masterclass on a website. I have used it for years, but also I've put it together with the clients that we have. And we had one client and one candidate who I can't obviously mention, but they were an urban designer, and his portfolio and another portfolio looked exactly the same. So the MD was like, Hayley, can you put him through your portfolio masterclass, see what happens? Anyway, we did that. And the MD gave me a call and just said, that portfolio is insanely good. At this point, the interview was just a formality. I would offer him the job on this spot. And that guy went on to be a part of winning, part of the Kadir project. So well done him, and also thank you so much to all the hiring managers that have given me feedback over the years, who have sat down with me and gone through portfolios. I spent a whole day with Sean Killer going through portfolios, so thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. But yeah, so the portfolio masterclass is there to help you think a different way about what you present, because I think you guys kind of think about your you're in your day-to-day job, but you don't really kind of rip off the band-aid, so to speak, and look at your portfolio from a different perspective. It's all very insular. You're thinking about your day-to-day job, the projects that you're working on, your boss's comments, your clients' comments, colleagues, etc., that you don't get the outside perspective. So the portfolio masterclass is actually there to help you, A, be more positive, B, give you a little bit of inspiration, a bit of zhuzh, give you a format that works, is not to be followed. In one of my coaching calls today, he asked Hayley, should I be following your CV and portfolio templates? And I was like, no, please don't. He was like, yes, I did gather that throughout the masterclass, but I just wanted to check. All of our templates on our website are just as a guidance. All of you guys work in the design space, design arena. So utilize that. There's no two of you that are the same. Actually, that's a lie. There are two architects that we know of in UAE who literally go to the same companies. So, I mean, that's an anomaly. They do have the same CVs. They've literally worked for the same companies. But what, aside from them, there's no two other people who have gone to the same university, companies, have the same perception on the same situation, environment, etc. Like my brother and I, we don't have the same viewpoint on the same, situation that happened or whatever it may be. And so your CVs and portfolios should look and feel very unique, very different, and very you. I'm not a fan of templates. I'm not a fan of people feeling constricted. And when I open up a CV and portfolio, that's exactly what I see. I see someone trying to conform. Oh, my CV can't be over one page. Well, look, there's no way on this planet that you're going to come up in recruitment consultant searches if your CV is one page. I guarantee you. It's just not enough information. So for me, if it's not in your CV, it never happened. And then what your portfolio is there for is to demonstrate everything that you've told me in your CV. So in your CV, I need to know like the projects you've worked on, who was in the team, like what was the brief? How did you get through the brief? Did you have any issues? How did you overcome those issues? It should be facts, figures, details. And then in your portfolio, it should mirror exactly what's in your CV, but it's the whole design process. So I want to understand, like, I want to be in a briefing room with you. Maybe I'm just a bit of a geek, but I love like the design conversations. If I'm not viewing portfolios, I'm watching interior design programs, architectural programs, all of this kind of stuff, refurbs, all sorts. So I want to understand what it's like to be in that meeting room with you. How did you take on the brief? How did you meet the brief? And how did you kind of guide and walk your client through the process? Like what were those conversations? Yes, they're like, they go in and out. Like at one point you can be working on concept, one point you're working on technical, you're all over the show. But your portfolio should be more of a linear process. Honesty is always the best policy. I totally agree. LinkedIn user, thank you. Thank you for your question. Let me just show it up here. What if we have frequent gaps and changes in employment due to not being able to cope up with consistent office politics? I think I need more information, and I think that's probably quite personal. So I don't want to say too much, but yeah, I need more information on that one. I'm so sorry, LinkedIn user. If you can send me a DM, it's free to send me a DM. So please do, and then I'll come back to you from there. Sorry. Abdul Rahman, is that how I say it? I hope so. DM is more or less responsible, design manager is more or less responsible for almost every single output of the design team. Okay, one of my guys today was a design manager. Sometimes time flies without having done a single task by my own hands, but rather coordinating, communicating, supervising, mentoring, etc. It is sometimes an issue while preparing the portfolio, the event. It is sometimes what to put in, how to formulate it. Do you have any advice? Yes, I do have a lot of advice. So your role is instrumental in putting the project together, the team, the motivation, the inspiration. So again, it's about transporting the reader, the viewer, to your briefing rooms. Like, how do you motivate the candidates? Your team. How do you motivate your team? What was a brief? So that's at the beginning. What was a brief? What was your interpretation of the brief? How did you communicate the brief? And then how did you motivate your team? How did you pull it all together? Again, it's never going to be linear. in process, but your portfolio needs to be linear. So I just need to have more information about what it's like to work with you. At the end of the day, whoever's going to hire you is going to want to understand, how can you speed up the process? How do you build trust? And sorry, I'm flip-flopping a little bit here. Your CV and portfolio are there to build trust. The people who get hired have 0 question marks, maybe a couple, but what you're trying to do throughout your CV and portfolio, LinkedIn, etc., 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 you're trying to be you, genuine across the board. And your CV and portfolio are there and tools to build trust so that the hiring manager employs you and knows that you can do the job. They also want somebody who doesn't or isn't going to take a long time to onboard. And onboard is a term used by recruitment consultants and businesses. It's minimizing the time that you need to learn everything that the business needs you to learn in order to do your job efficiently and effectively. So the quicker and that you can communicate that in your CV and portfolio, and the less the quicker that you communicate that, the less question marks people have about your capabilities. And then it's an easier process to go, yeah, okay, those are the people that get hired the quickest. Minimum question marks. And a portfolio has sorry, my phone's going off now. The portfolio demonstrates exactly what your skills are and how to, it demonstrates everything. Your CV is there to tell the story. Your portfolio is there to demonstrate it. Want those to marry and have no question marks. So sometimes portfolios can go off on a tangent per se. So you start off with really glossy images and there's a whole storyline to the project and what they're working on. And then as you go through the portfolio, it's like, oh, okay, I can see their graphical skills here. There's no way that this individual went from X to B and back to D. Do you see what I'm saying? There's inconsistencies with their portfolio. So minimize inconsistencies. And the only way that you're ever going to do that is by being honest in your CV and portfolio. End of. Hayley, can you please answer my question? Right, okay. What if we have frequent gaps and changes in employment due to not being able to cope with consistent office politics? I don't know your office politics, but you as an individual need to start considering yourself first in all of this. I don't know your circumstance, so this is why I was like, I'm trying to be sensitive to the office politics, etc. You're not going to go your whole life and your whole employment with not seeing through a project. And if you do, actually, so earlier on, I had a coaching session with a lovely, lovely woman, Misbah, who I was reiterating a coaching call during the pandemic with another amazing human being. She's on my recommendations on my LinkedIn profile. And basically what we went through in her portfolio. So she was in university, the top performing architect in her year. And her tutor was like, look, it's going to be super easy to get a job after you graduate. You're a first, your portfolio is amazing, you're amazing, your work's amazing, la, 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 la. And she came to me for coaching because she came out of university and went, where's the jobs? And over time, she went like, I think it was like 6, 8, 12, 14 months with nothing. And she came to me and was like, sobbing, I don't know what to do. What do I do? And I was like, right, okay. I tell you what we'll do. What's your dream project? She was like, okay, I would like to do something like Zaha. I said, right, okay. So shall I build a brief for you? And then you can build it into your portfolio. And we can start like talking about your design skills. You can start demonstrating them. And then you've got a basis to work upon. Anyway, we went down that whole route. It took a few months, I'm not going to lie, but she's now a director 6 years later. Absolutely nuts. And she's doing so well. I keep seeing her pop up on LinkedIn and whatever with her updates. She is flying. So look, if you don't have any body of work, you are in the design industry. Create your dream project. You know, get someone. Actually, maybe this is a good use for AI. This is the type of project I want to work on. Money is not an option, or there is a constraint. You know, set the parameters out in AI. I mean, this is a great use. I don't know why I haven't come up with this before in coaching sessions. So start setting out a brief with AI and develop a project with AI. Then you can put that into your portfolio. You know, there are so many different ways to achieve this these days. And being in design, I think, gives you the upper edge, if I'm honest. So, you know, I look at people in finance or accounting and I just think, oh, A, for me, it's quite boring. But B, it is what it is. Whereas design, there's so many layers to it, which I think is amazing. So you have opportunities out there, LinkedIn user. I hope that gives you some sort of insights or viewpoint or a different perspective on your predicament, should we say? I hope that helps. So, Hala, I will definitely DM you a few questions as my role as head of strategy and growth with marketing experience in the design industry. Yeah, okay. I look forward to hearing that. I definitely need some more information on that one. Right, so let me go through some more of the questions that I've been given in our coaching sessions. I keep getting this a lot. I would love to work for Foster and Partners. Oh, I can't say his name, but yes, I have a Foster and Partners candidate who is coming up through the ranks. He is awesome. So I'm going to answer this question a few times. I get it every week. And I'm sure it's not just Foster and Partners. There's loads of other amazing companies, and not just in architecture and interior design, landscape, urban design, master planning. You know, there's loads of businesses out there. But yeah, how do you get into working for a tier one company? Right. So there's lots of layers to this. And firstly, when I was doing the first coaching call with this candidate, I just said to him, right, you do realize that these tier one companies use a minimum of like 15 pieces of software and use it very, very well. You know, you can see the level of their understanding and knowledge in their portfolios, you know, of each software. Do you know that? He's like, yeah, Hayley, tell me what to do and I will do it. So there's loads of people that send us applications, etc. And they'll just use like AutoCAD or just use, I don't know, MicroStation. Those two softwares are, you know, I think, sorry to say, both of those companies are quite a bit out of date now. because there's loads more softwares like Rhino, Rivet. If you don't know Rivet, you need to get onto it immediately and start learning. Rivet, Rhino, Grasshopper, Lumion. I don't know. What was it? Unreal? Is it Unreal Engine? Anyway, look, there's so many pieces of software. Start learning those as a first port of call. Then start educating yourself. Like, I do say to people, don't use the word passion. Passion it will exude from every pore if you really, really enjoy what you do. You know, like for me, example, I watch interior design and architectural programs for fun. I love them. I eat, sleep, breathe architecture, design, all of the above. You know, I don't need to tell someone that I really enjoy the sector that I work in. I wouldn't be doing these LinkedIn Lives, for example. I wouldn't be putting myself out there like this if I didn't enjoy doing what I'm doing. So everything about your CV, portfolio, background will just flow through because you love it. So start learning absolutely everything that you can. Look, even Foster and Partners have a YouTube channel and stuff. Get to know the brand, get to know the company, whatever company it is that you want to work for. Start understanding who they are, their brand, what kind of look and design process they go through. Start researching all their employees. What softwares do they use? How do they speak about the business? In fairness, most architects and designers don't really speak about anything on LinkedIn or anywhere. But once you put all of their profiles together, you can deduce from that where their expertise lie, what projects they work on. Then start being really, you're going to have to be really honest with yourself, whether you've worked on that level of project before. And for most, no, they haven't. But you can, I think I brought this up earlier on, it's if you look at your CV, portfolio, LinkedIn, etc., and start to think about personal branding and what you represent. So whether that's your choice of font, your how you lay out your projects, what your design process is. If you have an accent colors, by the way, beautiful. I think they're amazing. I had one of my coaching calls earlier on. He was like, Hayley, my color is black. So we had a whole conversation about that. Brilliant. But everyone's unique is where I'm coming from. You need to stand out in some way, shape or form, and using AI, using CV templates that everyone has used is not going to make you stand out. It's going to make you, get lost in the hundreds or thousands of people that are applying to each job. We want you to stand out. We want you to go, hey, look at me. You know, like, maybe because I'm in Italy at the moment, I want someone to just like burst out onto their balcony. Hey, this is me. I'm the architect. You know, do something out there. You're not going to go too far out there because you're not those types, but just have a think about what you want other people to see in you. So when people say, oh, I never get recognized, you know, no one ever sees me and I need to stand out. You've got all the skills because you do it on a day-to-day basis. You designed all the spaces that make every human that walks into that space feel such a plethora of emotions. So harness those skills and put that into your CV and portfolio. If that's difficult for you to do, then start thinking about and start sketching out with, get a piece of paper, get a pen, and literally start sketching out 10 years from now, what projects do I want to work on? What, I don't know, location do I want to be working in? who do I want to be around me? What qualities and what behaviors do those people around me, how do they behave, etc., etc. Go into minute detail. And once you start kind of getting yourself out of the day-to-day, constrictive space and start thinking about the plethora of opportunities you have, you start getting way more creative. And like I said, probably about an hour ago, is find a space where you have, whether this is walking, whether this is, I don't know, going to the gym, painting, doing any form of any hobby, start thinking about where you get those aha moments from and take yourself there. Start, taking time out for yourself so that you get more creative. You are in a creative industry. You're clearly creative people. You make people feel a load of emotions. Take yourself there so that you can get a bit of space away from your work on a day-to-day basis, and then start sketching out what that looks like, how it feels. And then you start to build up. And even if that's really difficult for you, what do people think of you in 10 years' time? And then you can look at it from a different perspective. And then you can start looking at it, right, okay, that's what kind of qualities that person, even use your have a muse, or have something to focus, or someone to focus on. What kind of behaviors do they have? And just start kind of working back. If you can't be self-critical or get yourself to a space where you think, 10 years away is a long time. Sure, of course it is. But we all have, dreams. Think of the biggest dream that you can ever think of. Sketch that out, draw it, visualize it. Think about how you're going to feel there, and then start working that back. Start creating your CV and portfolio from that space. I'm going off on the beaten track here, but you need to start thinking about who that future you, once you've created this version of you that is your ideal, start working back and go, right, how does that person behave? How are they confident? I'm sure they are. They've got that level of experience that they can now teach others, etc. Anyway, again, going off the beaten track, but start visualizing who you are in your ideal workspace, project, environment. And I'm going to have to go because I can hear and see flashing in the background. But can you please keep your questions coming? We've got loads of people joining up on the Platinum Masterclass. There's limited space with it. We're not near the end, I've got to be honest. But please, if you want to work with me one-on-one on every single element of your job search, branding, CV, portfolio, and also learn sales skills in terms of how to attract your ideal audience, your ideal employer, etc. It's really not that difficult. And honestly, in your space, not many people are doing it. So you'll automatically stand out. But anyway, I am going to love you and leave you from Italy. I've only got a couple of days left here. And Thomas, you are so very welcome. Thank you for your message and tuning in today. Goodbye from Italy this week. I will be in Ireland next week. So, and I'm going to start lining up people to come on either on these LinkedIn Lives. Could you hear that? Either on these LinkedIn Lives, or I'm going to start doing other LinkedIn Lives, so maybe 2 a week. Let me know in the comments if that's too much. But also, I would love to know, please DM me what days and times are great for you, because I have seen, in fairness, I haven't put a lot of work into, people signing up and getting involved today. I know it's Eid, there's loads of people on holiday. Also, we've got a massive heat wave in Europe and crazy thunderstorms. But yeah, let me know when is good for you, and I cannot wait to see your names pop up next week. And I look forward to all the people who are ready to sign up again. Have an amazing weekend, Blinkies. Lovely to see you again, and I can't wait till next week from Ireland. Take care.